Boomer Sooner, baby. The Sooners get back on track after beating Kansas, having a bye week, and then coming out and putting out a strong performance against Iowa State. We have to talk about it. But before we do that, please go ahead, hit that like and the subscribe button. Let me know what you guys are thinking about Oklahoma. Do you think they can go ahead and win out and finish the season 9-3, go to a bowl game and finish 10-3? Oklahoma beats Iowa State 27-13 in Ames, Iowa, and this game was probably not as close as you would think if you would have watched it. Oklahoma gave up a couple opportunities to score, probably should have been a little higher than what the score indicates, but Oklahoma goes out there and gets the win against Iowa State, which is the most important thing for Oklahoma right now. You just got to be able to go out there and you got to be able to get the wins. Not the most impressive performance today from the offense. Dillon Gabriel was 15-26 for 148 yards and one touchdown. But when you look at what Dillon Gabriel did in terms of a box score, it does not indicate how he actually played in the game today. Dillon Gabriel, I think, had a phenomenal game today. It was just more so the receivers dropped quite a few balls and couldn't come down with the catches. That's really all it was. I mean, yeah, didn't he have an overthrow or two? Yeah, but I mean, he's going to have those, right? Multiple times did we see Dillon Gabriel to be able to come out of situations and use his feet. I would like to see Dillon Gabriel be able to slide down maybe a little bit earlier. It scared me a couple times when I saw the Iowa defenders come in and hit right above him. I did not want to see Dillon Gabriel get hit at all. He did have one sack, or he got sacked one time, but I mean, if he's only getting sacked once, I feel like you'd take that, right? You'd take that. So Dillon Gabriel, the box score does not indicate how well he played today just because the receivers, I don't think, had their best games. Jalil Farouk, though, 4 receptions, 74 yards. His longest was 41 for one touchdown. He had a pretty good game. The rushing attack for Oklahoma, I would say, was pretty good. Eric Gray did get hurt at one point. He had 20 carries for 101 yards, averaged about 5.1. He averaged about 5.1 yards a carry. He had one touchdown. If Eric Gray doesn't get hurt in that game, it looks probably a lot different for the Oklahoma Sooners. They did lose the total yards battle, 332 to 374, and they did lose time of possession, but Iowa State tried to play that time of possession game at the end, and it kind of worked out for them. They took it, but Oklahoma does come out with the victory due to Hunter Decker's 3 interceptions. 3 interceptions. So let's talk about the Oklahoma defense because I think that was a huge point for Oklahoma today and just how well they played. So Deshaun White goes out there. He gets 14 total tackles, 10 of those themselves. He has 1.5 tackles for a loss. And then you go out there and you see a guy like Danny Stutzman, Justin Broyles, and Woody Washington all get 3 interceptions. Now, I know everybody's asking the question, how did Woody Washington's interception not get overturned? I don't know, but listen, I ain't going to complain too much, okay? Because we needed a break, and we got the break. Danny Stutzman had that 37-yard interception. He almost had a touchdown. He almost had it. Almost there, Danny. You almost got it. But up and down the board, when you look at the defense, you just saw solid tackling across the board, and you didn't see Oklahoma give up big plays in the passing game. And I know people are going to look at it and go, well, our defense didn't play well because they gave up 374 yards, and the passing game just looked like crap because they gave up 308 yards in the passing game. Listen, we were trying to make Hunter Deckers throw the ball. And when he throws for and he completes 37 attempts and throws for 57, you would expect something like that, right? You would expect there to be a little more passing yards. But I look at it and go, they didn't give up big chunk plays. But I mean, they really didn't. Oklahoma played fairly well when it came to defending the pass. The longest pass today was 28 yards by Deckers. So, yeah, I mean, and you didn't give up a single touchdown in the passing. Well, no, hold on. Their longest passing was 26 yards, and you gave up 1 touchdown in the passing game to Xavier Hutchinson. But, you know, one of my keys to the game was holding Hutchinson at bay, which I think you did. He only had 10 receptions for 72 yards, right? You held him under 100 yards, and I think that's important because when you look throughout the Big 12, there's multiple receivers that can go out there and kill you. Look at what West Virginia did to TCU today. They played them really close. And so with what I saw from the Oklahoma secondary today between Billy Bowman, Justin Broyles, Keith Lawrence and Woody Washington, I think you have to be pretty well pleased. And then additionally, the linebackers played much better, right? I love what I saw out of Deshaun. I love what I saw out of Deshaun Washington or Deshaun White, and I love what I saw out of Danny Stutzman as well. I think we have made some significant improvements. I loved how we did not see the 3-3-5 as much today. Lining up in that 4-man front just gives me a little bit more comfortability. I'm sure it gives you guys a little bit more comfortability as well. And we got to see some of the freshmen today, right? We got to see Robert Spears Jennings. We got to see some, what's that kid's name on the defensive line? I always forget. Grayson Halton. We got to see some more Grayson Halton today. And I don't know, did anybody else see Jaron Kanak? If you guys saw Jaron Kanak, hop down in the comments, let me know. But we did get to see some Gentry Williams. And I thought Gentry Williams played well for when he was out there. I'm really excited about this team, guys. I think this team could be really good next year, especially with the freshmen that we have out there and what we've seen from them. I really like what I've seen out of Farouk in the kick return and the passing game. I think he's just got a lot of speed there, and I think he sees the field really well. Of course, again, we'll say it again. Eric Gray had himself a good game, and he potentially could have had more yards. Eric Gray is going to make himself a lot of money this season to go to the NFL. I think he'd be probably a 3rd or 4th round pick. But yeah, Oklahoma State gets the win. Or Oklahoma, I keep saying Oklahoma State because I'm watching that game up here. They're currently getting blown out 28-0, and K-State's on the goal line. So this is could be pretty embarrassing for Oklahoma State. But yeah, no, Oklahoma, they get the win against Iowa State. And, if you're an Oklahoma fan, you just want Oklahoma to run the table, right? You have Baylor at home next week. You go to Morgantown to play West Virginia. You got Oklahoma State at home, which, watching the Oklahoma State team now, I definitely think there's a possibility that OU go in there and just dominate that game. And then you end the season at Texas Tech. Not going to be an easy game, but it's a game that's winnable, right? All the next 4 of these games are all winnable for Oklahoma, especially after looking at how they handled the best defense in the conference, right? They kind of were able to do whatever they wanted to do. It should have been probably an extra 20, 24 points on the scoreboard if the receivers don't drop those passes, because 2 of them would have been open touchdowns. And yeah, you would have been able to do what you wanted in the passing game at that point. So the receivers play better, completely different game. But you come out, you win 27-13. Can't really complain too much. OU, I think, should have the expectations at this point to go win out. I don't think that the FPI favors them against Baylor, which we'll see if that updates after today. However, though, if you're Iowa State, you're on a 5-game losing streak after you felt pretty confident, blowing out Southeast Missouri State and Ohio and beating Iowa, who you historically just do not beat, right? And then you lose to Kansas, Kansas State, and Texas all by 1 score. 7 points. I think it was, 7 points. You lost to all 3 of those teams by 7 points. And then if you add in the Baylor game, you'll lose by 14 points. So 4 games, you lose by 14 points, and then you go to lose to Oklahoma by 14 points. So you've got West Virginia next at home, at Oklahoma State, Texas Tech at home, and at TCU, right? I'm curious to see just how Iowa State's going to be able to play, if they can get any more wins. I think probably your 2 best wins are West Virginia and Texas Tech on that schedule. I don't think they're going to be able to beat Oklahoma State and TCU, but we'll see just with what Oklahoma State is able to put out today. Listen, Iowa State fans, you guys might not be super high on Hunter Deckers right now, but listen, Hunter Deckers is going to be a great quarterback for you all. I think he has a lot of upside, and he's got a bright future out there at Iowa State. We all know Matt Campbell's going to turn it around out there. Like he says, this is the rebuild 3.0, right? This is the 3rd rebuild that Iowa State has done under his tenure. So I'm curious to see what you guys are all able to put out there. And Deuce Vaughn just had himself an incredible catch in the end zone. So on that note, jump down in the comments. Let me know what you guys think about Oklahoma. What's their record to finish the season, and do they make a bowl game?